The 8-year-old giggles, holding the tablet up to her mother. Daddy's phone says, "I miss you, baby," with a picture of a woman in red. The mother's smile freezes as her husband chokes on his champagne across the room. She takes the tablet from her daughter's small hands. Join us here. Tap subscribe and become part of our family. The living room smelled of cinnamon candles and fresh pine. Sarah watched her daughter Lily tear into presents with the unself-conscious only an 8-year-old possesses. Wrapping paper drifted like confetti. Mark sat across from her, nursing his second mimosa, looking pleased with himself in that particular way he had when he'd spent money. "For you," he said, sliding a flat, heavy box across the rug. Sarah lifted the lid. A new iPhone, the latest model, the one with the camera she'd mentioned exactly once 6 months ago. She felt a rush of something warm and guilty. She'd been so sharp with him lately, so quick to assume the worst when he worked late. "Mark, this is too much." "Nothing's too much for my girls." He pulled out an identical box from behind the tree. "Got one for myself, too. Set up family sharing so we can all stay connected." Lily had already abandoned her dollhouse for the tablet she'd received from Grandma. She curled up on the armchair, tablet propped on her knees, her small thumbs swiping through kid games. Sarah set up her new phone, the screen crisp and bright. Mark walked her through the family sharing settings: photo streams, location sharing, app purchases. "See, now we're all synced," he said, kissing her forehead. "No secrets." Sarah laughed and leaned into him. The fireplace crackled. Outside, snow began to fall. It was the perfect Christmas morning, the kind she'd tell herself to remember later, when the image of it became a wound she couldn't stop touching. Lily's tablet pinged. "Mama, look!" Lily held up the tablet, her face alight with the importance of delivering a message. "Daddy's phone sent me a picture." Sarah smiled automatically, still holding her new iPhone. "That's the family sharing, sweetheart. Sometimes messages go to—" She stopped. The screen showed a woman. Not a model from an ad, not a cousin from Mark's side. A woman in a red dress, posed in front of a hotel mirror, her hair wet from a shower. The message above the photo read, "I miss you, baby. When can I see you again?" The room didn't spin. It went very, very still. Mark was still talking about the phone's battery life. "And you'll want to turn off background app refresh, otherwise—" Mark. He looked up. His gaze followed hers to the tablet. Something in his face collapsed. Not into guilt immediately, but into calculation. The micro moment of a man deciding which lie to tell. "That's not—" he started. "Who is she?" Sarah's voice came from somewhere outside her body. Lily was still holding the tablet up, her smile faltering now, confused by the sudden silence. "A coworker. Just a coworker. She's drunk. She sent that to the wrong person, obviously." "To the wrong person," Sarah repeated. The woman in the photo wasn't looking at the camera like she'd made a mistake. She was looking at it like she was keeping a secret with someone. Lily climbed off the chair and walked to Sarah, pressing the tablet into her mother's hands. "Mommy, why is your face doing that?" Sarah knelt down. She took the tablet, then took Lily's hand. "Baby, go get your dollhouse from the corner and play in your room for a few minutes. Mama and Daddy need to talk." Lily hesitated. Then she picked up her stuffed rabbit and walked slowly toward the stairs, looking back twice. When the bedroom door clicked shut, Sarah turned to her husband. "Start talking. And if you lie to me again, I will walk out that front door and you will explain to your daughter why." He told her it was nothing. Then he told her it was one time. Then he told her it was 3 times. Then he stopped counting. Sarah sat on the arm of the sofa, the tablet still in her lap, the photo now burned into her mind. Mark paced. He used words like mistake and stress and midlife as if they were antibiotics that could cure what he'd done. "I never meant to hurt you," he said. "Then what did you mean to do?" Her voice was quiet. That scared him more than shouting would have. "I don't know. Feel something. Feel young." He ran his hands through his hair. "Sarah, I love you. I love this family. She doesn't mean anything." "Then why is she sending you photos in a red dress on Christmas morning?" He had no answer for that. Or rather, he had an answer, but it was the truth, and the truth would end everything. So he said nothing. Sarah stood up. She walked to the window. The snow had stopped. The street was white and silent. Somewhere down the block, a neighbor's dog barked. Normal sounds, a normal neighborhood. Inside her house, her husband had been texting another woman while wrapping her Christmas present. I want you to call her, Sarah said. Right now, on speaker, and tell her it's over. Mark's face tightened. That's not, it's Christmas. She's with her family. So are you. Sarah held up the tablet. Call her, or I will, and I won't be as polite. For a long moment, they stood frozen. Then Mark pulled out his phone. He scrolled. He hesitated. He pressed call. The phone rang once, twice. A woman's voice, sleepy and warm. Hey, baby, miss me already? Sarah closed her eyes. The confirmation was worse than the suspicion. She had hoped, until that exact second, that there was some explanation, some innocent mix-up. But there was only a woman's voice saying baby to her husband. And Jessica, Mark said, his voice breaking, we need to talk. He ended it, or he said he did. Sarah sat on the stairs after the call, her back against the banister, listening to Mark's muffled voice in the kitchen. Apologies, explanations, lies wrapped in nicer lies. Lily appeared at the top of the stairs, her rabbit tucked under her arm. Is Daddy in trouble? Sarah patted the step beside her. Lily came down and sat close, her small body warm against Sarah's side. Daddy made a mistake, Sarah said carefully. A big one. But we're going to figure it out. Is he going to go away? The question hung in the air. Sarah wanted to say no. She wanted to promise that everything would be fine, that families stayed together, that love was stronger than stupidity. But she had just seen a photo of a woman in a red dress on Christmas morning. She had just heard that woman call her husband baby. I don't know yet, Sarah said, but whatever happens, it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Lily nodded slowly, then she said, the lady in the picture was pretty, but not as pretty as you. Sarah pulled her daughter close and pressed her face into Lily's hair so the girl wouldn't see her cry. Mark came out of the kitchen. His eyes were red. He looked smaller than he had that morning, diminished somehow. She's gone. She won't contact me again. Sarah looked up at him. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to crawl back into the Christmas morning before the tablet pinged, before Lily became the messenger of her father's betrayal. But she couldn't unsee the photo. She couldn't unhear the voice. Give me your phone, she said. He handed it over without a fight. She went into settings and turned off the family sharing. Then she deleted Jessica's contact, the message thread, the photos she found in a hidden folder. Each deletion felt like cutting a thread that had been wrapped around her chest. Your daughter read your mistress's message aloud, Sarah said, in front of the Christmas tree, while wearing the pajamas you bought her. Mark put his hand over his mouth. For the first time, he looked truly ashamed. 3 days passed. The tree still stood in the corner, lights blinking cheerfully, indifferent to the wreckage beneath it. Sarah went through the motions, making breakfast, folding laundry, answering her mother's worried phone calls with, I'll explain later. But inside, she was negotiating with herself. Could she stay? Women stayed. Women stayed for the children, for the house, for the life they'd built. Could she leave? She had no full-time job. Her savings were joint. The dog was technically his. At night, after Lily slept, Sarah and Mark sat on opposite ends of the couch and talked in low, exhausted voices. He went to therapy. He bought her flowers. He did all the things the internet articles said a remorseful husband should do. But every time he reached for her hand, she saw the woman in red. On the fourth night, Lily asked to sleep in their bed. Sarah said yes. In the dark, with her daughters breathing soft and even between them, Sarah whispered across the pillow, I need you to tell me everything. Not the cleaned-up version. Everything. Mark was quiet for so long she thought he'd fallen asleep. Then he said, her name is Jessica. She's 26. We met at a conference in Milwaukee. I told her I was separated. Sarah flinched. You told her we weren't together. I told myself it wasn't a lie because I felt alone. His voice cracked. I know that's not an excuse. There is no excuse. Lily stirred. Sarah stroked her hair until she stilled. Then she said, I'm not going to decide tonight, but I'm not going to pretend either. You sleep on the couch until I figure out what I want. Mark nodded in the darkness. He gathered his pillow and left without another word. Sarah lay awake, her daughter's small hand curled around her thumb. Outside, a new snow was falling, covering the old snow, making everything look clean again. But she knew the difference now between looking clean and being clean. On New Year's Eve, Sarah made her decision. She sat Lily down in the kitchen, the tablet now wiped clean and tucked away in a drawer. Sweetheart, Daddy is going to stay at Grandma's house for a little while. He loves you very much. This isn't your fault. Lily's lower lip trembled. Is it because I showed you the picture? Sarah knelt down so they were eye to eye. No, never. You did exactly what you should have done. You showed me the truth. She took Lily's hands. The problem wasn't the picture. The problem was that there was a picture at all. Lily thought about this. Then she said, I don't like the lady in red. Neither do I, baby. Neither do I. Mark came down the stairs with a suitcase. He looked at Sarah, then at Lily, then back at Sarah. Is there anything I can say? Sarah shook her head. You already said everything. To her. On your phone while I was sleeping in the next room. He nodded slowly. He knelt to hug Lily, who hugged him back stiffly, then let go first. When he stood up, there were tears on his cheeks. I'll come back, he said. I'll do the work. I'll fix this. Maybe, Sarah said, but first you have to live with what you did. And so do I. He walked out the front door. The cold air rushed in. Sarah closed it behind him and leaned against the wood, listening to his car start, pull away, disappear down the snowy street. Lily came and pressed her rabbit into Sarah's hands. For you, Mommy, so you won't be lonely. Sarah smiled, a real smile, small but real. She looked at the Christmas tree, still standing, still blinking. She looked at